1,000 horsepower. Do you really want 1,000 horsepower problems, or do you want 1,000 horsepower just to say you have it? Let's talk about it. Going on YouTube, I am back with another video, and we're talking about a sensitive topic. 1,000 horsepower, a lot of people's desired peak number for their car. The problem is social media has desensitized horsepower and what actual horsepower feels like and looks like, how much it costs, and is it even safe? And everybody's number is now 1,000 because quote unquote everybody has 1,000 horsepower, which 90% of the people are lying about. First and foremost, 1,000 horsepower is not safe for daily driving, depending on the style of build and how much you build on it, weather included. So we're gonna talk about a few things that you may not have known if you're trying to build a 1,000 horsepower car, and this is coming from somebody who knows plenty about 1,000 horsepower cars. And I have plenty of people around me that have 1,000 horsepower cars. Now, I probably will get arguments in the car. Oh, I had this 1,200 horsepower Hellcat that I daily drive. Okay, cool. Do you really daily drive it, and can you really use it? But we're gonna talk about that. So to get 1,000 horsepower, let's be real. It costs anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. There's not a lot of people in this world that just have $20,000 to $50,000 to spend, let alone a credit line to spend just to say they have 1,000 horsepower. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That is how much it costs to get 1,000 wheel horsepower. The next thing, it's my favorite saying, G for mass acceleration always told me. It's never if, it's always when something happens, whether it breaks, whether something happens. It's never if, always when. And then you have to watch where and how you drive the car. And to get more into detail, it'll be on this side. But just understand when you're touching those type of horsepower numbers, you got to make sure you have gas lined up wherever you're going, because 9 times out of 10 you're not running 93. And then on top of that, you got to look at weather where you're going, because the type of tire you will need to use to drive that car safely, 9 times out of 10 does not do well in the rain. Which leads me to weather. You can really only take it out in good weather. Be honest with you, it's not safe to take it out in the rain. More than likely, it's not safe to take it out in the cold unless you heat up the tires. And then again, fuel. What kind of fuel are you running to obtain that 1,000 wheel? Do you have a supply, or is there a gas station that has the type of fuel that you need to run for 1,000 wheel? A couple of things off the bat to talk about. But when we talk about issues, yes, this video may seem negative, but I want to give you guys the truth to 1,000 horsepower. Let's talk about the things that you'll have to replace that are going to be now part of your maintenance in a sense. Braking parts that will now be a part of maintenance if you drag the car. If you have a 1,000 horsepower car, why are you not racing the car? Whatever. Axles and drive shafts, no matter what they're rated for, Drive Shaft Shop does a good axle and drive shaft, one piece, etc. But they still break. I've seen plenty of them break, axles and drive shaft. So you better have an extra set or have somebody who has one. Motors and blocks, no matter how safe or how good the tune is, they will fail over time if you beat on it. Most of the time, even my transmission that I'm getting built, he only guarantees 300 passes. 300 passes. That's not a lot if you think about it, but 300 passes is guaranteed. Then you have supercharger belts from normal wear and tear, spinning off the bearing, whatever it may be, that kind of horsepower, that pulley is spinning very, very fast. Even with GripTech being a good company, they still have it. Me and my homeboys went out to Mexico. One of my good friends, 1320-year roll, got a crazy LS, blew his supercharger belt immediately on the off-ramp trying to catch up. Well, catch up to us because we were already ahead. Differentials, diffs, track-wise, if they get stuck, wheel hop, etc., they're gonna break. These are now your maintenance parts outside of oil, all that good stuff. These are now maintenance pieces added to your pockets. And then the cost to run the car. Yes, pump E85 is great. And if your tuner can withstand pump E85 on 1,000 horsepower, more power to you, great. But there are some fuels that people run, different type of ignites that come in 55-gallon tanks or 5-gallon tanks. It just all depends. So that's where you have to know, do I have enough fuel to go where I want to go? which then limits where you take this 1,000 horsepower beast. How far can you go? Now, with the new technology, yes, I know there's plenty of 1,000 horsepower cars that can daily drive all the way out here, but you still have to apply E85. And where I live in North Carolina, there's not that many, period. It's just not. Then we talk about tires and weather. Normally you're gonna run some type of drag radial spec tire to be able to put the power down, let alone control the car. You're not gonna put some cheap Amazon tires on it. It's just not happening. That's the only brand I can think of off the top. You're gonna put on some type of radial, which means in the weather, you're gonna have to drive slow, or you're gonna have to be careful to not even take it out during that point. The other side, when you have one of those type of cars, it is a process to get it ready to run. A lot of times you have to get oil temps up, engine temps up to a certain degree before you can take it out. And then you're constantly monitoring what's going on with the car. Is it running lean? Is it running smooth? How it's going, because things change, especially if the car sits for a while. Then do you have the safety? Do you have a fire extinguisher? Do you have what you would need to protect the $20,000 to $50,000 investment that is a 1,000 horsepower car? And then lastly, talk to my guy Joe about this. He has an 1,100, almost 1,200 wheel horsepower Hellcat Superstock. How often are you gonna use it? They correlate, simple and plain. So is 1,000 wheel horsepower worth it? For somebody who's crazed about going fast, I'm gonna give you the answer, yes. But to daily drive, or to just say you have it because social media makes 1,000 wheel horsepower so obtainable now, or make it seem like it is, I don't think it's worth it. I think a street car with anywhere from 500 to 700 wheel horsepower is plenty to daily drive wherever you want to go. You can still be on 93 and travel. You still have a 80% chance to beat anything on the street nowadays. Unless you're in Texas, then you ain't got no shot. But overall, 1,000 horsepower has been desensitized. Is it actually worth it with all the things you may have to go through? Let me know in the comments, and we're out.